Afternoon, a warm welcome to the video, and we're here in Funchal, having flown here with British Airways in economy in an Airbus A320. If that sounds good, do stay tuned. Thanks for watching.
So the journey then starts here at London Gatwick Airport. We're flying from the South Terminal today. Granted, doesn't look much from this angle, but let's head on into the terminal and get our flight underway from here, London Gatwick, over to Funchal in Madeira. About a 3-hour and 30-minute flight. And here's our steed for the day, this 22-year-old A320. Now, British Airways Eurofly has a pretty big operation here at Gatwick Airport. They used to be in the North Terminal, but they're now here in the South Terminal. You can do bag drop and print your own boarding cards in Zone C on the left-hand side. Directly ahead, if you're in Club World, Club Europe, or you've got status, you can use the special check-ins. Oh, first class too, of course. And here on the right-hand side, you've got bag drop. On the left-hand side is the normal check-in for economy and premium economy. No bags for me today though. I'm travelling light as I'm flying back with EasyJet tomorrow. Watch out for the review in the coming weeks for EasyJet. Let's get over to security. So for the time being at least, I still have silver status with the British Airways Executive Club, and that means that I get to use fast track at security. That said, normal security looked good today too at Gatwick. Now I'm about to be told off, but I'm trying to film to show you could go straight on after security and it forces you through the duty free, or take this little corridor to the left just after security, you bypass duty free and you are given a direct route through to the departure lounge. I find this much better because I hate being forced through the duty free section. You might not, so take your pick. Again, thanks to my silver status with British Airways, it was time to head to the British Airways lounge here at London Gatwick. I have to say, it's a better lounge in my lowly opinion than the lounges at Heathrow. Let's take a look. Now, I know it's fair to say that British Airways is probably not going to be at the top of everyone's Christmas list this year, largely because of changes it's made to its Executive Club loyalty programme. Going forward, it will be much more difficult to get status with BA. So, whilst I've got silver status, why not make the most of it? This really is a lovely, lovely lounge. It's arguably probably one of the best in the UK. That's my opinion, of course. Anyways, I salute you. Cheers, BA, for giving us this lovely, lovely lounge and this amazing view. This is the kind of shot you can get with a decent telephoto lens whilst sat in the lounge drinking champagne. Not too bad. Now that's enough of plane spotting. Let's take a little look around. A decent food and drink selection here. Lots of different seating options, including those little cubbies over there that give you a bit of privacy if you want it. There is a mezzanine level. I didn't go up there this time, but would imagine it looks very similar to what you're seeing here. On my way out, I thought I'd film the new bar area that's been set up. This is lovely, and it's actually where you can go and grab a glass of champagne. Just a little tip, in the lounge here, the champagne isn't out for self-pour. You have to go and get it from this little bar. So just a little tip if you fancy some of the real stuff. Soon enough, it was time to head to the gate and get to our A320 for our 3-hour 30-minute flight down to Funchal in Madeira. It was a beautiful day for flying. And what a complete surprise. I've never seen this at Gatwick before. There was a boarding gate attached to the aircraft, as you can see, but for people who were sat in row 16 and further back, which included me, we were asked to board via stairs at the back of the aircraft. I thought this was brilliant. Probably wouldn't be so fun if it was pouring with rain, of course, but for today at least, it was an amazing experience to wander onto the apron at Gatwick Airport and get these lovely shots of the aircraft. There's something really retro about climbing steps and boarding an aircraft in this way. It reminds me of when I used to fly as a child. So the benefit of boarding from the back is that I got this beautiful view of our aircraft. And here's the Aerolopper seat configuration for this Gatwick based A320. Not much to speak of, to be honest, but the seats are the old style Pinnacle seats. If you fly on some of the newer BA aircraft, they actually have the horrible ironing board seats. You'll probably see one of those in one of my other videos. These are actually pretty comfortable, to be fair.
For this British Airways Euroflyer flight to Funchal. To help us depart as soon as
And I should stress, when I say comfortable, I mean to sit on. The legroom is pretty naff, I'm not going to lie. There may be a cost of living crisis, but I have to say this aircraft was completely full. Absolutely packed to the rafters. I think I saw 2 free seats in the whole cabin. Anyways, this is how I paid for my flight. 12,000 Avios and just £10. What a bargain for a 3-hour, 30-minute flight down to the sunshine. We were a tiny bit late in leaving the gate, but not too bad, and headed for runway 08 right for our departure to Funchal. Before we know it, we were straight onto the runway and it was time for us to lift. I'll go quiet now, as ever, so you can hear the takeoff. Very smooth indeed, as we lift into the beautiful blue sunshine. Blue sunshine? You know what I mean. Soon we were cloud surfing and heading up to our cruising altitude. We were well underway now, about 25 minutes into the flight. Service wise, it was buy on board as you would usually expect now with British Airways in economy, and we were handed some biscuits and given a glass of water. Their buy on board menu is actually pretty extensive, so there was options to buy teas, coffees, booze, and lots of sandwiches and snacks and things like that. I'm just showing you another quick snap of my knee. It really was really tight. I was in 21F and I have to say I could barely move. I'm 6'4", so that might be something to think about if you are flying economy. Don't get me wrong, BA's not alone in having really naff leg room. A lot of the airlines now do have very tight leg room. So if you're tall, just something to bear in mind. Sometimes paying extra for the exit seat is worth every penny. Here we are as we're starting to make our final approach into Funchal. I have to say I was ready to get off the aeroplane as I was quite uncomfortable by now. Here we are, now starting to make our final approach into Funchal. It was pretty bumpy, and I know the video doesn't show this, but we actually experienced quite a bit of shift and turbulence as we made this final approach. The pilot had already briefed us to say it's a tricky airport to land at and that we have plenty of fuel to go around and try again if needed. I thought that was interesting. It's clearly something that happens here quite a bit. Now, for those of you familiar with Funchal in Madeira, it's well known as a really tricky airport to land at, probably why the pilot made the announcement that he did earlier. I was expecting to come in on that very famous curved approach, but it turned out we were actually coming in from the north of the island and landing in the opposite direction. Now, on paper, it's a much more straightforward approach. I was a bit disappointed, to be honest, because I was really looking forward to flying that curved approach into the airport, but I needn't have been disappointed because actually coming in the other way, the views and the scenery is just spectacular. Sit back and just enjoy this approach as we drift past really high peaks and beautiful village settings. I've shown here on Flight Radar our route into the airport. Sit back and enjoy. It was a fantastic landing despite what was obviously a very, very choppy approach, and soon the passengers would show their appreciation. I haven't been on a flight where people have clapped on landing for a long, long time, and it was well deserved. As I say, it was a textbook landing, fair play to our captain. So here we are turning off the runway here at Funchal as we head for our parking spot. Okay, so let's delve into the trip report then. Overall, as ever, British Airways has got me where I needed to be, very, very cost effectively, safely, and everyone that I've interfaced with at the airline has been really friendly, helpful and professional. I know a lot of people are giving BA a hard time at the moment because of changes they've made to their loyalty programme, and I understand that, to be honest. But for me to have been able to fly down to Funchal, a 3-hour 30-minute flight for £10 and 12,000 Avios, I have to say I feel like that's a pretty good deal. The ground experience at Gatwick was really, really good, albeit I do appreciate that's because I have silver status. If I'm flying normal economy, I wouldn't have had access to the lounge or to fast track. My main beef with British Airways, or at least on this particular flight, was the legroom. It was just awful. Now, the likes of Wizz, EasyJet and TUI, they're all the same to be fair, but it seems like the further back in the aeroplane you sit, the worse the legroom gets. Although with BA, you can be in Club Europe, which is right at the front of the aircraft and technically their business cabin, and the legroom is not great up there either. I do wish airlines would just think about this, particularly on flights of this length. It's a long way to travel when you've got no room to move. Anyways, another stairs-based deplaning, and here we are in a very cloudy and moody sky at Funchal. We were soon inside the terminal and through immigration like a flash. It was very, very organised and efficient. I soon headed for my hotel, dropped off my bags and then headed straight back to the airport because I was keen to watch the same flight depart back for London Gatwick. Here it is, turning onto the runway to do a backtrack and then turn to face the right direction for its departure. And talking of departures, time for me to end the video too. Firstly, thanks so much for coming along on this little adventure with me, and I'd like to place a special thank you to all of my subscribers. I'm so grateful that people choose to invest a little bit of time in following me on my travels around the world. So that's it for the video. Great to have you with me. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks again.